For 9 months, Russian forces have laid siege to Bakhmut without Ukrainian defenders relinquishing control, which has given the city great symbolic importance amid the wider war. However, the Ukrainian counterattack has run out of steam since the autumn months. His last major accomplishment was liberating the west of the region and recapturing the city of Kherson in November. If Russia conquered Bakhmut, this would allow it to move into Ukrainian cities further west, such as Slavyansk and Kramatorsk. In turn, this would bring Russia closer to its goal of conquering the entire Donetsk region. A dramatic footage shows how the 45th Armed Forces Artillery Brigade destroys the enemy radar station, Repeynyk, and publishes the corresponding video. It was fired by unmanned aerial vehicles from the 30th Separate Mechanized Brigade, whose operators found a sufficiently small target and adjusted a highly accurate fire on it. On the other hand, the Ukrainian Armed Forces also destroyed the Russian invaders' 152mm a 36 Hyacinth-B gun at a firing position in the Kherson region. The pre-service unit announced this on its YouTube channel and on its own page on the social network Facebook, publishing related videos recorded by unmanned aerial vehicles. The overall intensity of fighting has decreased in recent weeks. The Russians continue to attack Bakhmut and Avdiivka, to the northeast near Svetov-Kupiansk and Kremenna-Lyman, and to the south near Vuledar. There is currently little activity from either side. A breakthrough for Russia seems increasingly unlikely. Despite the result in the bitter fighting in Bakhmut, Moscow's inability to gain any substantial ground in the Donbass shows how little its offensive has achieved and how much its military has struggled to efficiently capture urban areas throughout the region. Ukraine said on Friday that Russia was concentrating all its efforts on capturing the eastern city of Bakhmut, where it described the situation as difficult, but said it was holding out despite Russia's numerical superiority. Meanwhile, the UK Ministry of Defence said in its daily update that Russian forces have most likely advanced into the town center of Bakhmut and have captured the west bank of the Bakhmutka River. Ukraine's main supply route to the west of the city is likely to be under threat. He added that there is a realistic possibility that locally Wagner and the commander of the Russian Ministry of Defense have stopped their ongoing feud and increased cooperation. In the Vuledar direction, the Ukrainian Armed Forces managed to knock out the Russian troops from the landing east of Vuledar's dacha as a result of a successful counterattack. This was reported by the Telegram channel Donbass Operative with reference to the military. Ukraine reminds that this year the invaders tried to take Vuledar, leaving the front of the 155th Brigade of the Pacific Fleet and other units. However, the Russians suffered significant losses in equipment and manpower, after which they ceased active offensive. Recently, dramatic footage shows Ukrainian Armed Forces artillery destroying a warehouse with ammunition, an Ural truck, and the labor force of the Russian occupiers. The press center of the State Border Service of Ukraine reported this to its media sources, as it was the unmanned aerial vehicle operator who found the targets and adjusted the classic artillery fire on them. The video that was released was edited from footage taken by the same drone. We are shown the direct hit from the first shot. The shot can be distinguished by a bright flash. At the end of the video, you can see how a house burned down, where the interventionists set up an ammunition depot. Wagner's group did fly the Russian flag over Bakhmut's town hall, but that didn't mean the city was under Russian control. About a third of the city continued to be held and defended by the Ukrainians in the west. In the Bakhmut city area, there was protracted fighting over individual city blocks and crossroads. The Russian advance around Bakhmut and on the road between Bakhmut and Sloviansk appears to have stalled, at least for now. The situation near Avdiivka is currently partly unclear and overall critical for the Ukrainian side. The Russians apparently used troops left over from the failed assault near Vuledar to keep pressure on Avdiivka. The Ukrainians had a well-developed position west of Avdiivka, which allowed a withdrawal if the town was lost. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on April 7 that Russia had lost 110 soldiers in Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 480 casualties suffered by Russian forces over the past few days. Russian troops carried out strikes against 9 Ukrainian oblasts over the last 24 hours. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry's media center reported on April 7. According to the report, Russia attacked a total of 114 settlements using mortars, tanks, artillery, S-300 missiles, multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS, drones, and tactical aviation. 32 infrastructure facilities have been affected, the media center added. Although Ukrainian troops continue to defend Bakhmut as they fought back Russian attacks, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky suggested on Wednesday that he might order troops to withdraw if they faced a Russian encirclement. The head of Russia's private Wagner militia group said there was no sign of Ukrainian troops leaving Bakhmut, and fighting continued to rage in the western part of the eastern Ukrainian city. In a telegram post, Prigozhin, who has been critical of Russia's top military brass, made it clear he was not satisfied with the support he was receiving from the country's mainstream troops. The fighting in the city is the longest and bloodiest since Russia invaded Ukraine last year. After the Russo-Ukrainian War reached the one-year mark last month, Russian troops stepped up their efforts to seize control of Bakhmut with the help of mercenaries from the Wagner Group, a private military company backed by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Spokesperson for Ukraine's Southern Command Natalia Humeniuk said on April 2 that Russian troops were changing their attack tactics in southern Ukraine. According to Humeniuk, Russian troops were forced to turn to airstrikes in the area because Ukrainian forces had successfully targeted Russian firing positions in a 30-kilometer strip on the Russian-held eastern bank of the Dnipro in Kherson Oblast. Meanwhile, Ukraine needs more time to gather, organize, train troops for a counteroffensive. The level of training of the brigades formed for this purpose was not yet sufficient for the maneuverability of the combined arms and the best possible use of the weapon systems provided. An untimely counterattack could be fatal for Ukraine and would irretrievably waste precious resources. Strategic patience is essential now. Political pressure to initiate counterattacks early must be avoided.